We're up.
What up?
What's up? Oh man, it's been a minute, but we're back live doing stuff again. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it has been a minute.
Man,
Life is life's comes at you fast.
it does. It does. For those who are new to the channel, I'm Michael. That's Leroy. This is the We Trying channel, a Nerdy by Nature production.
Hmm.
We talk about all kinds of random nerd, pop culture, video game goodness. And we got a fun topic that we'll get to in a second, but it's been a minute since we have been live, as I said. So, Leroy, what you been up to?
Just working two jobs. Kids, wives, and comics are expensive.
Yeah, and you can't give up one of them.
I mean, you can.
I mean, I was trying to be. I didn't want to put that out there for you. You
I'm,
could.
I'm, I'm not saying I plan to. I'm just saying people have done it. People have given up wives. People have given up kids. People have given up comics. I plan to do neither. I plan to cut back on one of them. Um,
Chat, you let us. You pick. Which one do you think he's cutting back on?
I'm gonna give you a hint. It's them kids. Ain't gonna
Okay.
have any more.
Okay. Oh, that's what you meant. I
Yeah, I'm not getting any
I,
more.
I thought you meant as in like I'm not gonna spend. I'm gonna spend less time with them.
No, I'm saying I'm not gonna get any more. Like I'm
Okay.
not gonna get any more wives. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna get any more kids.
Hmm.
I am gonna get more comics.
You are gonna get more comics.
Yeah.
As I've been cleaning up my house for reasons that we'll get into in a second as we get
Mhm.
more people into the chat. There are a bunch of comics that I realized that you didn't make me get, but I definitely got because of the passion that you had. And I realized
Good.
I don't really want these comics.
I'll take them.
I say all that to say I was going to ask, did you want the comics?
Oh yeah. I'll be by tomorrow. A matter of fact, I'll come by tonight.
Okay, great.
I'll
I
come
mean,
by tonight.
I want to keep all my number ones, but there are some other ones I'm like, I'm not really doing anything with
Yeah, give
this.
them to me. I got it.
And I don't.
So
Okay.
I'm slowly but surely trying to convince people at work
Hmm.
that they should get into comics. They just hadn't figured it out yet. So I've been like planting little seeds here and there, and I I'm a bad influence, and there are
Hmm.
other. And so it's almost like a pyramid scheme. So like friend of the show, James Gilbert is a bad influence because like I'll see him in the shop, and I just saw him last week or this week.
Hmm.
He'll be like, "Hey man, did you pick this up? Did you pick this up?" And I'll be like, "Nah, did you pick this up?" And then I'll incept someone else and be like, and so it's just a pyramid scheme to keep people in the comics so they don't have any money. So what you talk about reorganizing the house and stuff?
Yeah. I was trying to wait till more people came in, but Banks is asking where y'all been. We've been busy. Leroy's been dealing with life. I've been dealing with life.
Oh yeah, I
Folks
got a
who
part-time job.
you got a part time job.
Oh yeah, I
Uh, I,
forgot about that.
Leroy got a part time job. I got a full time wife.
I
So
was I was hoping you could say a part-time wife.
I know you wanted me to say that. Yeah, but
That's
your
what I
heart.
wanted.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah, I got married. Today is Saturday. It'll be I guess
Two whole
15
weeks.
days. 15
Two whole
days
weeks.
now. Yeah, 15
Oh,
days at this
you're
point.
doing the baby thing. You're like counting the days. Hey man, for me it's just 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 whole weeks. Yeah.
So here's the thing:
Hmm.
are y'all gonna get something like this, like with the pictures you guys got, and like because you didn't
I
do
mean,
invitations and stuff. Like
well, you people in this chat will know, and you know, both Wendy and I are very low key people.
yes,
So none of that was really what we wanted. We said, hey, we're gonna get married at this water fountain, and we got our friend Darcy Strickland to do it for us. It was very
yeah,
nice.
you literally got married low key because I didn't even know
Yeah.
because I called you to be like, hey man, what you doing Friday? I might need some help.
Yes.
And you were like,
Let me see if I can go back to the text to see recreate what I said
I,
because I said it very nonchalantly. What'd you say?
I literally, because okay, so behind the scenes, so a buddy of mine went out of town and he needed me, and I told him I'd go get his car because he had to stay a little longer than he wanted to. So I was like, hey man, I need some help going to go get this car. I may I may need somebody to ride with me. And so I was like, hey, Michael, I know Michael sometimes will just take a random day off. Plus, the car was already in Charlotte, and I didn't know if he had already went to work yet. So I was like, hey man, what you doing Friday? And now granted, I did ask him like 2 days before I was going up there. And as I texted him, Michael
Oh,
texted me
you
back.
asked me Thursday.
Yeah, I asked you
The day
Thursday.
before he said, "Hey, what's your schedule tomorrow?" I said, "I'm getting married tomorrow. What's up?"
Yeah, that's literally how I found out.
Yeah.
As I was texting you, I'm texting my wife, then being like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And,
Yeah. Good times.
and then I asked his fiance slash wife because I saw her that same day.
Hmm.
It was like, "Yo, y'all got a photographer? What's going on?" And I said, "You're lucky that I couldn't get out of work that day because I definitely would have brought the boys in a dinosaur costume to crash."
I mean, it would have been perfect. It would have been fine.
Yeah,
So my my sister
mhm,
wants to do something for us at her church,
yeah,
and we have both reluctantly agreed. And you said something very nice. You said, "Let people who want to bless you," or something to that effect. Let people who want to celebrate you, celebrate you.
that's what that is. Yeah, because I don't
So,
use the term
something,
blessed. Yeah,
something,
yeah,
something to that effect. So
yeah.
we said, okay,
Legally, I'm not really allowed to use the term blessed.
okay.
Mhm.
So it'll probably be in June, hopefully.
Okay.
More details will come about that, but that'll be, and then Anne will probably be there, and we'll be able to put some money together because I like Anne's photos. So if
Yeah.
we'd have a photographer, it would be our friend of the show, Anne.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. 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 Yeah. So
So yeah, Leroy's had a second job. I got a wife, and it's been a lot of work just trying to get to clean out my house to make room for her stuff while
yeah.
also cleaning out her apartment to figure out what really needs to come. So that's why we've kind of been gone these past Saturdays
Mhm.
because most of the time, every Saturday, I've been
Yeah.
moving stuff from her apartment into the house.
Hmm.
Um, we finally did like the big moving last week,
Yep.
and there's still a few things left at her apartment, but it's nothing big that she'll be able to get tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's
So
where
I've
that's
been.
where we've been.
Yeah. Side. I've been. So the wife and kids. So we're gonna take some trips, and the kids are old enough, and so we decided we were going to, like Michael is taking a trip, a honeymoon.
Yeah,
Um,
it has become a honeymoon now.
yeah, that's why I put it in quotation marks. Said it's become a honeymoon.
Yeah.
We've never taken the boys on a plane, and with everything going on, my brother-in-law had scheduled because it's his 20th wedding anniversary, and my in-laws 50th. So we got passports. They rented some place, and we're gonna go and celebrate for a week. There, we're talking about marriage. We're talking about so. I hope we can make it to 20 and 50. Um, and so we're going to take the boys on a pre-trip, and then
Hmm.
we're going to take them on this other trip. So I gotta like squirrel away, sell some stuff, you know, get an OnlyFans page, you know, get a side hustle. I got to do all these things to pay for it. Plus,
Hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed, eggs are expensive.
Eggs
Um,
are expensive. I'm about to eat my last three right now and debating whether or not I'm gonna buy some more tomorrow.
so I cooked 4 today,
Hmm.
and I'm telling you right now, I was watching them boys, and I was like, "You go eat every bit of this goddamn eggs, boy."
Yeah,
Because
sure.
and like back in the day when you're like, "Oh, you don't eat them? Okay, I'll eat them," or or we'll
Yeah,
throw them out. And like, nah, this is too expensive.
yeah,
Gatorade's gone up. Like,
yeah, indeed. But that's what we've been doing for the past, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks. I think guys got
yeah,
less. Last time we did something was in February,
yeah.
really.
So,
We
and
we
the
do have
funniest,
a Doctor Who reaction that will go up to the new
yes,
trailer. It'll go up probably after this. I just again busy still trying to get stuff together in the house, so I
it's
haven't got a
funny you
chance to put
mentioned
it up.
Doctor Who because you have an interesting topic, which
Hmm.
what up, Kay? We got an interesting topic.
Hmm.
Uh, Kay's late, so we'll tell everybody once they get into the chat at the end. Um,
Well, we'll
because
see if Kay pays attention to the chat because
yeah,
her based on this, her comment is right next. So
because
we'll see.
Banks has said what yeah. So
Right? Yeah. So
So
we'll
the
see
funniest thing
what's
is
up.
I've had this job part time because it's allowing me to direct on the side. But like I've been doing it more,
Hmm.
and it's like so I have like one day off a week now, and some days I work both jobs. So it's funny because it's like I've had this job since October, but like now it's like, oh, I really have two jobs.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Um,
yep, there goes Banks.
hey, Banks, you know what? You have an unofficial title now. Whenever somebody new jumps in the chat, you just put that comment in.
Banks is like,
Yep, Banks, you do it for me.
hey man, just
I got
copy
no
and paste
problem with that. Yep,
it.
just
so
copy and
speaking
paste it.
so speaking of Doctor Who, you
Hmm.
had a topic and we've been trying to do it,
Hmm.
but life kept getting in the way. Um explain this topic because I find this and I find it interesting and I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
But
So for me, it was long form storytelling, and at
mhm,
first it was just about Marvel,
mhm,
specifically MCU Marvel with the movies.
mhm,
Phase 1 through 3, everybody loved. I mean, everybody loved it to different degrees, but
mhm.
phase 1 through 3 was a resounding success. Nobody can
Universally
deny.
loved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a financial success. The most recent phases have not been as
I would
universally
say
received.
phase 4 is successful. It's not universally loved.
Yes, the
Yes.
most recent phases are not as loved as 1 through 3. That is,
I would say 4 is successful and profitable. I would say 5 is the phase that we're in. 6, I think, is the phase we're in now. But these last few phases have not been universally loved and either have not been as successful or have just broken even.
yeah. Um, so it was just going to be about that topic, but then I don't know if I thought of this as it happened or after it happened, but
Mhm.
spoilers for people who don't follow wrestling or who do follow wrestling. John Cena, the man who had, when he became John Cena as we know him today, has been a good guy, a babyface for the last 20 plus years.
Yep.
Before he became John Cena, he was a heel for a little bit, but nobody cares about that. But since
Yep.
being John Cena, he's been the ultimate good guy, both in and out of the ring. He's done. I think he has the Guinness Book of World Records for most Make a Wish pledges or whatever by anybody.
Mhm.
Um, But 2 weeks, I don't know, 4 weeks ago now, maybe at the most recent pay per view event, he turned heel, joined with The Rock, and it shook the world. And I just thought about, to me, I as somebody who recently came back into wrestling after a year or so,
Mhm.
um, enjoyed the video games, but wasn't really
No,
following
it's
it. And
been
I
more
got
than a year.
no, sorry, I mean watching it when it comes on for every time.
Oh,
Because
okay.
before I was just watching the pay per views, but
Ah,
I didn't start watching it like regularly again until WrestleMania of
okay.
last year, and I've been
Yeah,
watching it
because I was like,
continuously
you were
since.
watching it when we were still at News 19.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah,
I
that
was
was like,
watching through pay per views and whatever.
okay.
Um, but it's interesting to see WWE's form of long form storytelling.
Mhm.
Kay, even if you don't follow it, you will still be able to keep up with this because the idea we're talking about is just them telling stories that have been kind of hinted at for 20 plus years or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, the
Also,
another good
we're
example
currently in
is
phase 5.
okay, cool.
Yep.
Another good example would be Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, a storyline that has been going on. I don't know for 4.5 years, 5 years at this point. Banks, let me know.
Mhm.
You knowing about the prototype lets me know you are interesting somewhat. So Banks, let me know how long the Bloodline storyline has been going on. But that has been a long form version of storytelling. With right now, the crowd is behind one character by the name of Jay Uso, who
Mhm.
has had this incredible story arc of being the second banana. He's an identical twin to his brother Jimmy Uso. Um, his storyline has been from you can't tell one apart from the other two. Him having his own unique wants and individualities and personalities, and people
Mhm.
really cheering him and getting behind him. Now he's called Main Event Jey Uso, but that's all been building for 4 or 5 years now at this point. And I just kind of wanted to talk about long form storytelling, how it works, how it doesn't work, where we think it fails, where we think it's successful, that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because this was I hadn't
Okay, that's
quanti-
it. Exactly.
I hadn't quantified this like that, but I'm a little bit more online than you are. I'm on Threads,
Hmm.
and one of the things that I think was interesting is I was talking about cliffhangers,
Hmm.
and this is all going to make sense in a second. And I apologize if this is long winded, so bear with me. So I had posted the cliffhanger in Across the Spider Verse in in Infinity War in Infinity War's cliffhanger were two of the best cliffhangers I would say in the last 20 years. And I was talking about that comics brought us this idea of long form storytelling brought us these two cliffhangers because they're following a sequential art graphic novel comics way of storytelling, which Kevin Feige, I don't want to say developed, but I will say perfected. I would say he was the archetype of this storytelling. Um, and when I said it, I got pushback that Infinity War was a complete story. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Because I was like, it's not. If you look at, because I was like, Infinity War and Endgame were announced as two halves of one whole story, the
Hmm.
culmination of this long 10-year journey. And then Infinity War would end and would set up Endgame. And that the story
When
told
they
in that movie would
when they
not be.
did that announcement, yeah, when they did that, they did it as Infinity War Part One and Infinity War Part Two, I
And
believe,
so
before they changed
I
it to Endgame.
I said, and as I said this, I had people arguing that the story was complete, that the whole story could have ended with Infinity War and we'd have been good. And I was like, no, the comic itself did not end that way. They originally announced it and it was this argument. And I was just like, oh, you guys don't know how stories work. and it just,
Hmm.
and it was, and so when you sent this, I was like, yes, this is a topic we should be talking about because when you have a multi layered across because the one thing that I like about the WWE, and it's the same thing if you break it down, it's the same thing that Marvel has been doing and the new Star Trek universe, but not to the degree. They're telling one long story using multiple medias. So in the WWE, they use their pay-per-view events, which would be your movies. And then they have their weekly TV shows, which is Raw, which is uh,
SmackDown.
thank you. I could not remember. I could see like the lettering, like the white and blue, and it
Yeah.
going across the screen, but I couldn't. So you have that. So then, when it comes to the MCU primarily just had movies, and then they delved into TV shows, and that advanced the narrative of this entire universe.
Hmm.
And I was like, saying that Infinity War was the end of the story is like saying, "Oh, we're not going to tell any more of this story." And I just thought that was so short sighted. And but also they're the best in the game at doing it. Nobody is able to recently been able to tell a story as successful as they have done.
Who?
And
When you say that, you're talking about Marvel. You talking about wrestling? Who are you talking about?
both,
Both. Okay.
both. And the only people that I say comes close is Lucasfilms when it comes to Star Wars and Disney by
Hmm.
because they backed the truck up. And I would say, and I will say, if you had to rank them, it would go WWE 1, MCU 2, and Star Wars 3 as far as telling a consistent story over multiple decades
Hmm.
with ebbs and flows, but always getting the population or the masses to support whatever story you're telling. So, um, but yeah, when you said that, it just really because I was just like I was literally just talking about this online, and this whole conversation about like beginning, middle, and end, whereas the MCU and WWE has no end. It's a
Hmm.
living, breathing universe.
Hmm.
So technically, it will never end.
Yeah. Um, like the closest thing you would have to ending is people getting written out of the shows for injuries or contract disputes or whatever, but they can always
Mhm.
come back. Um,
Or legal
it's
issues,
been, yeah, our, yeah, our legal
or
issues.
death. I mean, like you have
Yeah,
wrestlers who pass away who cannot literally be a part of the franchise. So
yeah. Um, I think it's interesting with WWE. People said we've said it before on this channel, but other people said it. Wrestling is essentially a soap opera, and it
yeah,
is. It's a soap opera with stunts put in between.
it's a
And
masculine soap opera.
yeah, and WWE is interesting in that. And Banks backed me up on this. Anybody else in wrestling backed me up too. But I feel like, at least in my time from watching, I'll say from WrestleMania 40 last year consistently
Mhm.
until now, compared to in the past, WWE definitely seemed to be more pushing 20, 30-minute matches and having talking segments of 5 to 10 minutes. But that is
Mhm.
definitely flipped now. And talking segments can go, the talking segments, for people who don't know, are essentially they're called promos. That's where the character talks about whatever the storyline is going to be. They call it other characters. They
Mhm.
get the crowd hype, whatever it's going to be. But promos now can last 20, 30 minutes at a time. In a wrestling match, the match may go maybe 10 minutes. When John Cena, as they're doing their European tour right now, when John Cena appeared in Brussels, I think for the first part of the European tour, he talked for maybe 20 minutes before Cody Rhodes came on. They talked for another 10 minutes. They went like 30 minutes the whole show. No fists were thrown, and people loved it. People didn't care. That crowd loved it just to hear the storyline. So it's interesting.
And here's the thing: they build upon. And one thing, because I don't watch wrestling like I used to, and I remember
Mhm.
when I was in it. And the last time I remember being in it, where I was like engrossed and just I could not stop watching it. I watched it a little bit when Sheamus came out, and I got out right before the Shield showed up.
Okay.
But my last big hurrah was the NWO, and
Sure.
when Hogan turned heel,
Hmm.
um, when Terry Bollea
Yeah.
turned heel, they built on that because Hulk Hogan was the like Cena is for this generation. For 20 years, John Cena was the archetype hero.
Yeah.
Hulk
And
Hogan would
sorry, go ahead. I won't cut you
no,
off, but I want to add to
no,
that.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, and we didn't know it at the time. We know it now. Hulk Hogan seems to be not a great guy outside of the ring.
Oh
John
yeah,
Cena, for all intents and purposes, still seems to be a good guy outside of the
yeah.
ring.
And not
Um,
only, and the one thing I love about John Cena is he's self-aware, and
mhm,
that's the one thing that I really appreciate about John Cena because, and we'll get to good old Terry in a second, but one of the things that I liked about, I apologize, I'm trying to watch the Spurs and the Celtics match right now, so if you see
mm.
me like I'm,
I didn't know if you were watching a March Madness game or not.
no, 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 no. I
Okay.
don't watch college basketball. I can't.
Okay.
Well, one, Clemson got their ass kicked in the first round,
They did in the first round. Were
and
they
I'm
the
not.
only upset? Did
No,
everybody else like
there were a couple upsets, but I like.
there were? Okay.
Here's the thing. I used to do a bracket. I didn't for a while, and then I did it. I'm like, you know what? I don't do brackets because I like to watch the games. But now that I don't work at CBS anymore, I
Hmm.
don't have them right there in my face,
Yeah.
and I don't have the time. So it's very hard to like watch those. But anyway, um, okay, just making sure. 101 to 90, if anybody cared. They don't. So one of the things that I thought was interesting is you're right. John Cena is a very good guy. It seems to be. He has been very honest and open about his career and his like. So I got into John Cena. I really didn't too particularly care for him because I was
Hmm.
like a white rapper. I was like, come on, like we already have one of those. Um, but the Bella Twins is what really got me a little bit back into wrestling because I like the Bella Twins for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Um, and then I liked John Cena.
Hmm.
And then John Cena talked about being an actor. And I was like, oh, I'm interested in this. And so I really like the fact that John Cena talked about, like, I don't want to be a dad because I want to have a career. I don't think I have the what's necessary to be a dad. And I thought that was very self reflective that you can say, that's not something that's in the cards for me.
Yeah.
Even though financially, like I could provide all the things, but I don't see that for me. And I was like, that's something a lot of people don't. because he talked about dating the Bella, one of the Bella twins, and her wanting a kid and him, and he was like, I acquiesced. I did say, and he was like, I didn't. We both realized this is not what we both want, and I
Hmm.
could respect that. And we bring it back to Hulk Hogan. It seems that image was curated. We didn't know how terrible he was. We
Yeah.
heard rumors, we heard rumors about him snitching to Vince McMahon about ruining,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
Ruining
the
other wrestlers' careers.
and so we knew about that. And then the TV show came out, and he was still he was still beloved. And then the tapes, and then like all of the stuff, and we realized, oh, you are a piece of shit. And so
Did you see the because as you being online all the time, did you see the clips from when Raw finally debuted on Netflix and Hogan came out and got
I
booed,
heard,
like
I
destroyed?
heard,
Yeah, it was
I heard,
wild.
and I saw the clips, or like I saw the alerts and stuff. But that's why I said this when John, because I did not watch it. I just heard about it, and it was so big that it filtered into my algorithm,
Hmm.
and that's why I said it reminded me of Hogan's heel turn with the NWO when Kevin Nash and all of them, because they were just wrecking shop. And then I remember when like Sting turned into the Crow, and like that. This reminds me of that. This 20 years of goodwill this character has built up
Yeah.
to then turn and say, "Fuck it, I'm with the villains in black." And I think that story wise, you're seeing that with the MCU. Parallel that with the MCU, with Robert Downey Jr. being the face of the MCU,
Hmm.
dying, spoiler
Hmm.
alert, dying in Endgame, and then they bring him back in Hall H and saying Robert Downey Jr. will be back, and then he's going to be Doctor Doom, one of the greatest villains in the Marvel universe.
So talk to me about that. Why do you think that? Well, one, do you think that could work? And
Yes,
we talked about it before, but just I'm setting something up. Do you think him being Doctor Doom can work?
yes. I
Okay,
Here's the thing. I think it can. My question is, will the audience accept it?
sure.
Because there two things can be true. This movie or this concept can be good, but the audience may not accept it.
Sure.
Perfect example. We both agree Harley Quinn's solo movie in the DCEU is a great movie.
Yeah, I really loved it. Yeah.
Audience does not agree with us.
No,
This
no,
is like
unfortunately.
the consensus is there are various reasons why the audience did not agree with that. So financially, they did
Hmm.
not put their money where their mouth was. There are a lot of people who are going back saying, "Why did this movie not?" And there are various reasons why, but the movie itself was a good movie. Everyone involved did an excellent job. The action scenes are great,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, it just wasn't well received. I don't know how this Robert Downey Jr. thing is going to work. We have seen heroes before in the past go heel in comics. We have seen Iron Man be a bad guy in Civil War. We've seen Captain America be a Hydra agent. Um, we've seen Professor X be the bad guy. We've seen bad guys go good. Deadpool, and I argued this last night at a comic forum. Deadpool is a villain. He started out as a villain. He's turned into an anti-hero. Venom was a villain. Magneto was a villain turned into a hero. So we've seen this before. The question is, can the Russo brothers and Marvel overcome this online deluge that has just inundated us and talking about how the MCU is dead and Marvel is back and all this other stuff? Can they overcome that noise and present a good story and capture people's attention like they did in the past?
I think they definitely have a harder challenge because it is such a big turn to see Downey as evil, but also whether or not you have liked the most recent string of movies, I think it is fair to say the level of consistency has not been the same in the most recent movies compared to the earlier phases. And I think because of that, they have a higher hill to climb to get people back in. Like if these phases had been good or had been consistently well received, all these movies had been for whatever, people wouldn't. I mean, they would complain a little bit, but they'd be more ready to buy in. Like, oh, they have some plan. They know what they're doing. Because a lot, the big thing online is, oh, they went back to Robert Downey Jr. because they don't know what they're doing. Like that. That's one of the big things. Is like, oh, they gave him all the money. We need him to come back and do something. I'm of the belief that they have an idea and they like, oh, we can do something different. I don't think it's that, but people saying that, I could, based on what I've seen so far, I can't completely disagree with that or be like, oh, you're off base, because like, okay, the movies have been kind of whatever, and they haven't been the same tone and quality as we've gotten in the earlier phases.
And here's the thing. I agree with part of that, but I also two things can be true. One, the quality in the movies and the TV shows may not have be up to snuff of some of the other things that have hit those highs. So let's take, for example, Thor Ragnarok, the three Captain America movies,
Hmm.
um, the Avengers movies. Um, there are certain movies, the first Iron Man. There are certain movies that, no matter what, we can all agree commercially and critically, they were good movies. They were successful and good movies. Iron Man 2 and 3 made money. Critically, were they as well received? No. Did and so something could be successful and critically not loved, but you can overlook that because it fits your particular narrative. And the reason why I say that is because in the beginning, before the culmination of this 10-year storytelling, you had did not have the expectations that you have now.
Hmm.
And with that being, what I mean is, I can have watched the original 10 years of the MCU. And with each movie, you're building to something. And you don't have the expectation because you'd never seen this before. Because we hadn't. Outside of wrestling, we had never seen this long form storytelling. We'd seen a little bit of with it with Star Wars, but we still hadn't seen it. The build up to Thanos.
Hmm.
Thanos shows up in game, Infinity War in game happens. 10 best years movie wise for a franchise. Now you're in phase four and phase five. People who grew up with these movies are now expecting this buildup, this consistent. They're looking for you're here, so now you have to keep going here, and that is almost unreasonable, pretty much unreasonable, because if we look at sports, no one team stays dominant forever. There are highs and lows. Let's look at the greatest run of a football team ever. It's the Patriots. Where are they now? They're rebuilding because you cannot sustain that level of perfection without other people either A, cannibalizing your talent because you can't pay them, your people getting old, retiring, and the sport changes. That's exactly what happened to the MCU. Your talent got a little older, wanted to do more things. You got cannibalized because a lot of your talent from behind the scenes were taken by other people who wanted to duplicate your success or saw them. And then the market changed. COVID happened. Bob Chapek, Bob Iger. There was literally a change behind the scenes that affected this storytelling, this franchise. So, yes, you're going to have that. So the question now becomes, can they get those people back? And we've seen them attempt that with this video of Doomsday pre production of the chairs. And at the end, Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm.
they're definitely trying to get in front of this narrative that the MCU is back and that the MCU fell off. They're definitely changing the narrative because they're getting out in front, telling you who's going to be in this movie.
Sure, yeah. For me, I'm a little worried because I don't know who they talked to, but I read it somewhere. The um, what was it? Who are the brothers? The Russo
Rus-
brothers
Yeah.
said that these Avengers movies are going to be the beginning of something, like the beginning of something of a new
Mhm.
chapter. And to me, that sounds cool, but then I think about it, like, so what have I been watching from phase 4 through phase 6? Was that not the beginning of something? So there's another beginning to something.
I
I
think there
kind of I
is a.
kind of feel like if that's the case, it's like, well, why did I watch all this other stuff? Like it's been fun, but
Here's the thing. I think you've been watching something, but I think what happened was there, and Kay mentions it. Marvel was, and I want to highlight this comment real quick because this is very true. Ooh, they changed the way it comes up. Marvel was a victim of their own success, and fans got spoiled with content. Marvel is a victim of their own success because it's just like you said. You're now looking for all the Easter eggs. What are you building to? Before, we were just watching these movies just to watch them.
hmm
I agree that we were building up to Thanos and the Infinity War because they told us it was happening. But again, when we went to go see these movies, we went to go see Iron Man 3 because it was Iron Man 3. We went to go see Marvel Captain America Civil War because we knew Spider Man and the Black Panther were going to be in it, and it was Captain America versus Iron Man. It We did go knowing that this was a continuation of a story, but we went because we knew the story was going to be good. And I think now Marvel has really kind of shot themselves in the foot by making us aware of this long form storytelling. So everything has to build upon itself to satisfy this narrative.
yeah, but also some people, even if it's not building, like the stories, some of the stories they're telling don't go anywhere, even like the self-contained stories.
True. I agree.
Which I feel like they are a victim of their own success, but also they it's almost there's so much content that they're trying to fill between TV shows and movies. It's like maybe pare that down a little bit and just get back to quality over quantity.
And
I don't know if Black Panther. I mean, I know they nobody wanted Chadwick Boseman to die. I don't know how much that affected. I would argue Jonathan Majors getting arrested was more detrimental to the MCU than the death of Chadwick Boseman, character
I
wise.
I would say they are 1A and 1B, 1 and 1A,
Hmm.
because the talk right now is Chadwick dying. Chadwick was supposed to lead the next phase, with Black Panther being the leader in the next phase, with Wakanda coming out of the shadows and being known as Wakanda. This
hmm
isolationist country, Wakanda was going to be on the stage, and that one of the things, and I don't know if this is true, but I do know that there is talk that some people who have done interviews and have said this, that Black Panther, the character Black Panther, was supposed to be set up to be have a larger role in the MCU, and that was why in Endgame he was the first one to come out of the portal. If you remember, Sam says on your left, and then out of the portal, it was Black Panther. That is one of the things that we've seen. Now, I will pair that, and I'll get to, because this is something me and you have disagreed on or discussed. I don't know if you still disagree. Chadwick Boseman threw the biggest monkey wrench because they were building up to Kang being with Loki, with Ant Man. Kang was supposed to be and the big bad, and they had to pivot.
hmm
Um, I think that is a storytelling. Oh, like they could have eased. They got past the Black Panther thing, which made them shift. But then The Chadwick Boseman was, it's like you're driving on the interstate and you get off on the wrong exit,
Well, you
but
said
you
Chadwick. Did you mean Jonathan?
no.
Okay.
What? Hold on. Which part? I'm
Because you
talking
said
about
Black Panther and then you said Chadwick.
Black Panther and Chadwick dying is you got to take a different path.
Hmm.
But now Jonathan Majors and his situation causes you to go in a totally different direction because now you have to reset and back to your point, you're no longer on this straight path.
Hmm.
Um, I have always contended not recasting was the right decision. I've always felt that way because in storytelling and in the movies, we have never seen this where a cast has rallied and then made their concerns known, and that a movie studio whose job it is to make money abided by the wishes of their stars, and not just any stars, black stars, and did not cast one of the most pivotal characters in the last 20 years.
You talking about for Black Panther, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that to me speaks volumes of the deference that the Marvel Cinematic Universe gave that we have never seen before in our lives.
Hmm.
Because any other franchise would have put any other black person up there. And a matter of fact, they've done it before. They recast Terrence Howard when he asked for more money.
Hmm.
And we know for a fact Ike Perlmutter has said put any black guy up there. It won't matter. And Marvel made a point to not do that.
Sure.
And I think that to me, I think that speaks volumes. You may not like it storytelling wise, but I think we need to respect and appreciate that because we've never seen it before. For a black man not to be recast, money wise, and for them to respect their wishes, and then to weave that death into their storyline, that's amazing. Mm. Um, Jarence, welcome to the chat. I disagree with you, and here's the thing, and here's the reason why. And I've said this before many, many times. There was a connection, and Black Panther meant more than just money. It was literally a cultural experience. And if you turn around and fire Ryan Coogler, you literally change the trajectory of the MCU because that backlash is something you do you I don't know if they could come back from that. And then what happens is that person who is recasted as Black Panther, when you get rid of the director, you're going to see actors speak out about it, and then you have a bigger problem on your hands.
Yeah. Um, so we've talked about a bunch of different things as we try to wrap it up and wrap it around. Is there anything, and to tie these together, is there anything you think the WWE is doing in terms of its long form storytelling that the MCU could learn from?
Invest in your people,
Hmm.
and what I mean by that is stop killing off, and that's something Marvel's kind of learning. Stop killing off your villains and invest in your people. And excuse me, because you'd never know who could be that next big thing. One of the big things at Marvel, we've said this in the past, when you had a villain in the movie, you killed them. Sidewinder and the Luke Cage series, Crossbones, Red Skull, um, uh, oh boy, the villain from Killmonger, and Claw, Baron Strucker, Baron von Strucker. Um,
I mean, technically, Red Skull's still alive.
he You're right, but
He's chilling on Vormir, but he's
but
alive.
is he like is he still a villain? Is he still a threat? Like
He got a
that.
corporeal form that we could
You're right.
talk
You're
to.
right. So that's six.
Yeah.
So here's so keeping those people alive allows for you to invest in them in future villains, which then allows you to build upon that. So when you have your events, having a certain villain show up does wonders to your storyline. I
Hmm.
mean, and you killed off some great characters who now you have to explain or you have to figure out who are you going to cast now to be this other villain when you could have had the Red Skull the entire time having machinations, when you could have had Baron von Strucker, when you could have Crossbones show up in your Captain America 4 movie, Brave New World.
Hmm.
Um, that's the one thing that I think the WWE does a very good job of keeping people under contract. And then when they leave, they come back, picking right up where they left off and keeping that storyline going and having and developing characters. Say what you will about wrestling, the WWE invest in their people in the sense of developing characters to the point where the characters are in wrestling. What is The Rock's real name?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I mean, it's just Dwayne Johnson, but we call him Dwayne the Rock Johnson. But yeah,
What do we call him? If you see him, what do you call him?
I mean, people just call him the Rock.
Boom. If you see Stone Cold Steve Austin, what do you say? Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
And what I'm saying is that's that person. That's that um that's what the WWE does very well. They create these characters to the point where they own it. So you like perfect example, China. China
Hmm.
could not market her name when she left the WWE because she didn't own it.
Yeah.
And that was caused say what you will about it. It caused literal financial problems for her because she could not market herself because she wasn't China anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like with John Cena, it's weird because like I think WWE owns his intellectual name, even though his name actually is John Cena. I think there's a split or something. He's talked about it before, but it's interesting. Um,
um
yeah.
yeah. Jarence, I appreciate the comment. I fundamentally disagree with it. Um I respect what you're saying. I think when you say nobody likes what Cougar and Nate Moore did, they wouldn't care if Marvel fired them. I would disagree 1,000%. If the cast from Black Panther walked, you have a bigger crisis on your hand. And the fact that nobody cares about what Coogler did, um, that movie grossed half a billion.
We talking about Black Panther 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that.
I don't know how much that did.
Let's look at Black Panther 2 gross. Almost $1 billion. So to say that nobody cares what he did and people think that he messed it up, that movie grossed almost $1 billion. Domestically, almost half a billion, 453 million. Um, yeah, I think they're doing okay. Now, here's the funny thing: when we talk about long form storytelling, we talked about, and I'm going to ask you a rapid fire question. I know you weren't expecting this, but as we're about to wrap up, I'm going to give you a couple of them. You tell me good job or bad job.
Okay.
Doctor Who, good job, bad job.
In regards to what?
Are they doing long form storytelling right?
Um. Yeah. I think they did it. I think yeah. Good job.
Okay. Star Trek universe, the Paramount Plus universe.
I say good job.
Okay. Jurassic Park, Jurassic Kingdom.
Bad job. That's not going. I don't know. I mean, I want to see the new one with
Okay.
ScarJo, but I don't know.
I'm just asking.
Mhm.
Harry Potter.
I mean, over the movies, yeah, good job.
Really? Even the last ones? That's what I'm talking. Like, because
What?
keep
Wait,
in
are
mind,
we talking about Harry Potter? Or are you talking about Fantastic Beasts?
that's all part of the Harry Potter universe.
I mean, it's a spinoff though. Like Harry Potter's not
That's
even like
no,
mentioned in that. That's
hold on.
not.
So hold on.
Nah.
Let me rephrase the Potterverse.
Okay, the
So
Potterverse.
I know it as Harry Potter because that's what the 6 or 8 movies are called. But the Potterverse itself is the Fantastic Beasts prequel spinoffs. So that's my question.
Based on that, then I would say bad job.
Okay. Um, DC Cinematic Universe.
Bad job.
Last but not least, Star Wars.
Mm, probably say bad job.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking of is like from beginning to where we are now, and
Mhm.
most recently in my mind, I'm like, I'm excited to see Andor. I still haven't seen Skeleton Crew,
I have not either.
and I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's not like I gotta see it, but I am excited to see Andor. So
I
just
am.
get me excited again and get me involved, and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah. So do out of all the franchises that I listed, who do you have the most hope for going forward?
oh, I enjoyed the Arrowverse. For instance, Kim from Chicago brought it up. I think I really liked. I liked Arrow. I liked Flash. I really liked Legends of Tomorrow because that show just got weird. I like Black Lightning. I enjoyed the Arrowverse a lot. I didn't watch the new Superman show.
Lois and
Um,
Clark.
I don't think it's called Lois and Clark because that's the Dean Cain thing.
Ah, you're right. What is it called?
It might just be Lois,
Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. It might be Superman and Lois.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I,
Um,
I love that Banks is telling everybody who comes into the chat, "Hey, man, Michael
yeah,
recently."
yeah.
I
I
love that.
I
Hey,
got a publicist. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
so
Um, yeah,
I'm not Superman and Lois. Thank you, Ken.
yeah.
So out of the ones, not including the Arrowverse, out of the ones who has the most potential to get it right, or who do you think is get who going
I think
forward is
Star
going to be?
Trek because they find different ways to be within that universe. I think all the shows like they all tell their own story, but because Star Trek is so vast and it goes for so many years, you're like, oh, this was before the OG Star Trek. This was after OG Star Trek. This is in the
Mhm.
Kelvin universe. They find a way to make all that pockets work.
Yeah, you're right. So Strange New Worlds, uh, st- uh, Lower Decks, Picard. Now,
I enjoyed Discovery. I didn't see the last season because we ran out of Paramount. I never renewed it,
yeah,
but
we did.
I enjoyed Discovery when I was
I
watching it.
enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Discovery. I need to go back. Um, Prodigy's. I've heard good things about Prodigy. Prodigy's on Netflix now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I am. Now I haven't heard good things about Section 31, and I was really looking forward to that. Um, I think I tricked you into watching Strange New Worlds, or I incepted you, and you liked it. You really enjoyed it.
Could be.
But
It's kind of like what I did for you in Suits.
oh my gosh,
Are you watching the new Suits?
I am not
Okay.
because I have not finished the old Suits
Okay. Fair enough.
because my for some reason Netflix started messing up when I think I'm trying to remember where I left off. But it started messing up and then I had to hop over the Peacock and
Hmm.
then I freak something happened. I don't know. And I stopped watching and I have to catch up. Um, mm, shit, I forgot to put one expanded universe or one continuous universe. Although I'm not sure how this fits or how they're working it. Transformers.
Um, I'm gonna say bad job,
I agree.
and I want to like it because it's it's your childhood. You remember all that stuff, but
It's stupid fun, but it's not good.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
I would say some of the more recent movies have done a good job. I thought Bumblebee was good.
I thought Beast Rise of the
Um,
Beast was good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if you haven't watched it, even though the voices are a little hard, they're jarring if you expecting Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. Transformers 1 is really good. Transformers 1 is like and I'm going to say this. Transformers One is really good because Brian Tyree Henry is amazing as Megatron.
Mm, okay.
Like
Is that on Amazon Prime right now?
it is. It just came to Amazon Prime. It was on
Okay.
Paramount for a while, but we just talked about neither one of us has Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, Transformers One is really good. But yeah, I who do you have out of everybody I mentioned? Who needs to fix it? Who needs to fix their universe, or who can fix their universe? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think Fast and the Furious can. I believe Star Trek can.
You never named Fast and Furious.
I did.
No, I didn't, because I never said good job or bad job to Fast and Furious.
Are you sure? Because it's right after it
Positive.
on my list. I did Jurassic Park, Jurassic Kingdom. Okay, Fast and Furious.
Mm, I'm gonna say bad job
I agree with that.
where we are now. But yeah, Fast and Furious. Let's go ahead and wrap that up. And are they going to do the female spinoff or whatever? Sure, why not? But let's.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
getting
forgot about that.
too in the weeds. It's getting too in the weeds. Let's wrap this up.
I forgot about that.
There are too many people. The bad guys made some compelling points in the last movie, and it's like, huh, they're right.
They
You
did.
just keep bringing. It's like, well, okay,
They did.
let's. Yeah. Reacher made some compelling points of like, oh, you get these people around the world who are doing destruction, you bring them into your family, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're making points. It was good stuff. I thought it was interesting, but yeah, let's wrap this up. I mean, I will say this: Jason Momoa in Fast and Furious is fantastic.
He
That
kept
movie was
the only
trash,
reason.
but man, he was great.
Yes, the only reason why that movie was good is because of him.
So
The only reason
if I
why.
get a part 11 with him being more of that character, yep, give it to me. I'll watch it.
And I want to watch Alan Richson.
Alan Richson, yeah, I think that's right.
Richson. I want to see him unhinged because we saw him being the straight laced agent. I want
Hmm.
to see him enjoying going all out,
Sure.
and that's what I want in that one. And if they can pull that off, maybe they right the ship. But I
You
just
remember that Brie Larson is in Fast and Furious?
yep.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's in Fast and Furious. Why? I don't know.
Here's the funny
Whatever.
thing: I never want to hear anyone complaining about the MCU when Vin Diesel launched himself off of out of his car to catch Letty
I mean,
when
I see
she.
nothing. I see nothing wrong with that. That was
I'm sorry.
fantastic.
Nope, nope. I never want to hear anyone complain about the MCU.
Yeah,
I just got done rewatching that movie, and I was just like,
that was fantastic. That was cinema.
it-
That was art.
sir,
That was great.
mm, yeah, no, I went back and watched, and I was like, I
Yeah, King got it. They
yeah,
got a tank. Yeah,
they got a
exactly.
tank. Like
Yeah.
the best parts about those movies, I'm not gonna lie, is the triumphant, triumph, triumphant.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Triumphant or triumvirate? I
Yes,
don't know.
yes. Um, Ludacris, Tyrese, and Natalia, whatever, like that three, I would watch a movie of them or a TV show. The three of them, just because because to me they're the most self-aware of everybody. And remember when they went to space and we were like, excuse my language, Negroes in space,
Yeah,
and they were
yeah,
like, we can't die. To me, let them almost break the full, like, don't let them go full Deadpool,
hmm,
but let me enjoy them enjoying living in this universe.
sure. Yeah, The Rock did punch a torpedo to redirect
He
it.
did
All
not
right,
punch it.
he didn't punch it. He guided
He
it.
guided it.
I almost feel like he should have punched it. That might have been even more realistic. I don't know. Whatever.
He
Doesn't matter.
guided it. Do you know? Do you realize Charlize Theron is not the bad guy in the last movie?
Yeah, yeah,
Cipher.
yeah. Cipher.
Helen Mirren is in this series.
She sure is having a good time driving
I'm.
cars. Good for her.
Here's a funny thing. Out of all of these TV series or all of these, franchises, Harry Potter, Marvel Cinematic Universe or DC Cinematic Universe, all of these franchise, Doctor Who, the one who is the most unbelievable is the Fast and Furious franchise. I
Yeah.
I cannot suspend belief enough that that is real. I believe that Dune is more real and more believable than the Fast and Furious franchise.
Hmm.
I would believe in Thanos before I believe that Vin Diesel and his family
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. You're right. David Cooper. Yeah, we did come on the line tonight. It's been a minute. Banks, let David Cooper know where I've been and what I've been doing.
Kim from Chicago. That's what I'm talking about. They sent Negroes to space
Yeah.
in a
Um,
Fiera.
yeah.
Remember that? It was a Fiera.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. We've been going an hour three. Wrap this
Yep.
up.
Hey man, I appreciate you.
Yeah. I appreciate you too, man.
Everybody, congratulate Michael. He's a newlywed. Um, I wish there was a way that we could support him in his journey. If you have any tips, tricks, um, I don't. I'm barely surviving.
I love it. I
I
love it.
don't.
Yeah.
Uh, I will say this. My only advice to you is fight fair.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I say this as a person who likes to fight, and I don't fight fair.
Don't fight fair. I love it.
I don't. I love my
Uh,
wife, but I don't fight fair. And here's the thing. I need to do better. I need
mm,
to be a better man and a better husband, a better father.
mhm.
And I'm going to work on all of those things
Yeah.
after they go to sleep.
There we go. Folks, we will probably be back next week.
Well,
Now
we're
that
going to
I
try.
am married and I got to.
Oh,
We will talk about that. Okay. Yes.
okay. That's what I'm talking about. Hold
Um,
on.
but d- yeah. So I got married, but to go on to that, getting her stuff into my house
Hmm.
has been a task that we've been doing every Saturday, usually when we're recording. So that's why we didn't have her to record. But now that her stuff is here and it looks like a pigsty, um, I mean, it does. It is what it is. Her stuff, my stuff. We're both nerds, so we got to figure out what we really want to keep. I have decided Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. I'm keeping. Everything else can either go to Goodwill or
Whoa, whoa,
maybe
whoa.
hold on. Can either go to Goodwill, Eric from Scratch and Spin, or you if you want it to sell it.
How about this? Don't take shit to Goodwill. Because, hey,
Oh, I've already taken stuff to Goodwill.
don't take nothing else to Goodwill. Two,
Uh huh.
legally, the comics are mine. You said this on the chat. It was a It was a verbal contract.
I did say
I
that.
get the comics. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that I put that out there. I
Yeah.
have 10 witnesses.
Yeah. Cool. Fantastic.
Hey, what got you through the week? Everybody,
Um,
what got you through the week? Throw it in the chat.
so I realized how much I can just stick to one game. I think the last time we did a stream, what I talked about was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on hard mode. Still
Mhm.
doing it.
God
Still
damn.
doing it. Yep. I have
Holy shit.
265 hours in that game.
Sir,
Um,
stop.
hold on. That is a lot, but also part of it is I can't really play as much as I want to because the time I would have spent been playing has been moving.
That is true.
So I
But
can't
you've
really.
already invested 265 hours, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, doing that. Reacher, me and the wife did finish the most recent season finale of Reacher today, so that was good.
Bakes, say nobody asked you that shit, man.
Yeah, he owed me a bunch of chicken sandwiches.
At least four.
Um, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think what else. I haven't started watching Severance yet.
I haven't
I
either.
I will, but now that it's out, I'll watch season 2 of Severance. Daredevil Born Again, I'm caught up on. I'm loving that. That's probably about it for getting me through the week. Yeah,
So for me, it has been we finished Paradise. We need to review Paradise. Have you finished that yet?
yeah.
Okay, we need to review that because, like,
Okay.
yeah, we need to review that. For me, it's been so me and the wife. The two shows we watch consistently are Abbott Elementary and The Floor. Um,
The game show.
yep.
Okay.
Don't ask me how. I it's just
No, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I do like the fact. I mean, it's kind of like nerd versus nerd. Who knows
it
these
is.
people and
It
stuff.
is.
I kind of like that.
It is. And then we argue about the show of like that's a bad clue or anyway. So we watched that, but we've started watching, and for all of those, Ken, hold that thought. We are going to talk about it because me and you, we might be here. We might be here. For different reasons though, because I have anyway. Sorry. For those of you who chastise me, and I'm gonna go back and watch and read, or gotta go back and read the comments. For those of you who chastise me about the Mr. and Mrs. Smith critique I had for the trailers, me and my wife have gone back and started watching those episodes. I'll admit I was wrong. This
Yeah,
is a
show's
good show.
fantastic. Show
It is.
show's
It's
really
a good
good.
show. Um,
Donald Glover don't put up no bricks.
whoa, 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 whoa.
I stand by that.
Calm down. I'm, I'm. Donald Glover is good, but Maya Erskine is the reason this show works.
Sorry, I guess what I meant in terms of creativity. I don't
Oh,
know that
okay,
he's the
okay.
best thing on the show,
That's
but
what.
the
Yeah,
fact that
yeah,
he helped create that show is
yes, yeah.
man.
The fact he created Phoebe
Yeah,
Waller. What is?
Bridge.
Thank you.
Yep.
Maya is no notes.
She's also
She
somebody who doesn't
she
put up bricks.
she is she on this show. She is Kobe.
Did you see Blue Eye Samurai?
We have not finished it. No, I have not.
Okay,
We haven't
because
finished it.
that's a very good show on Netflix,
Okay,
and she
so
voices the character. But yeah,
we haven't finished it. So we're on episode 5 or 6. So yeah, so for those of you who were chastising me and like it's not the same as the movie, yada yada, like you're right. I was wrong. You're right. So it's that, and I started playing Star Wars Outlaws,
ah,
um, and I like it. Um,
I mean, I've heard now that it's got patched. It's decent. Like now's the time to play it because they went back and fixed a lot of the smaller things that people hated about it from the beginning.
so I like it. So
Hmm.
those two things, um, and I will admit, stand up comedy has gotten me through the week because your boy's been going through it, and reruns of the Justice League and Archer. Yes, Kim from Chicago. That ski episode, me and my wife were like looking at each other like we have had that fight. We have had like when she said, "I hope you're dead," and then she texted back, "I take it back." That has literally been us where it's been like, "Fuck you, no, fuck you." Michael, going back to my original comment, fight fair. Because let me tell you, in the beginning, we did not fight fair. I did not. I was wrong. I need to be a
Fantastic.
better man. But no, for everybody talk about Severance, Yellow Jackets, they're on my list. I just have to get through them. So yeah, uh, I watched the first season of Severance. Michael talked about the studio, and that's another one I need to get to. Are you? That's your show that you're watching, right? Have you started
I
that one?
haven't watched it, but we did the trailer about it. I do know it's starting. People are liking it a lot, so I'll watch that.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been going long enough, guys. We really appreciate this. Much love. Um, Everybody's in the chat. Jarris, Kim from Chicago, Banks, Kay, David Cooper, Herbert Thornton. Um, hold on. I'm trying to get my cursor to
Did
make
you say
sure
Banks?
I did say Banks because
Okay.
Hey, Banks has been holding it down, telling everybody you married. Um,
Yes, indeed.
yeah. Uh, and Jarris, where'd you go, man? I want to throw love out to you. Jarris, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Yeah, everybody, really appreciate it. We're going to try to get back on schedule, but just life got in the way, man. I apologize. Yeah, so we're going to do a better job. Um, so yeah, keep your mental, protect your mental, do what makes you feel happy, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.